Today we are going to do a tarot reading based loosely on the psychological technique of the Johari Window. If you haven't heard about it, I'm going to explain it briefly, and we're going to use the cards to reveal these 4 different aspects which create the window of your personality. Well, this is actually going to be a mock reading, meaning that this is not for any specific person. But if you like the reading type, feel free to message me. My email address is in the description box. It's amaliaamica@gmail.com. And I will let you know how you can book this reading, because it's not on my website. This is just something that I'm experimenting with, and it's not updated on my website just yet. But if people are interested in it and this is something that could be popular, then I'm going to update the website. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Another thing before we dive in, if you enjoy these types of videos, make sure to subscribe to my channel to be notified about new videos. Also, if you have any feedback or any questions, or just anything on your mind, feel free to leave a comment. I read all comments and I respond to most of them. I would say if there's a question or something that requires a response. Okay. So the Johari Window is this 4-segment structure where we are looking at 4 aspects of the self based on or in relation to whether the information is open, known, or if it's hidden, unknown. And so the first part of the window is the open area, where we find the information about what is known to the self, to the querent, and what is also known to others. So this is the most self-evident, the most open public information about you, to yourself and to your peers as well. So that's going to go here in the upper left corner. It's to your right, but don't let that confuse you. Okay, and then we have the next segment, what is known to yourself and what is not known to others. So this is something that you're hiding, or something that you're unable to express to other people, something that no one else is picking up on but you. Okay. Next, we have the blind spot. This is something that you don't know about yourself, but other people can see it. In Jungian terminology, this would be the shadow. The shadow self is often more apparent to other people, even strangers that we have very superficial interactions with. And this is something that is very hard to access for the self, very hard to see. It's a blind spot. Okay. And the 4th one is the most mysterious, because this is where we find the information that is not known to the self and also not known to others. So this is the realm of the subconscious that is hidden from both the querent and their environment as well, the people around them. Okay. So, let's see. As I mentioned in the beginning, this is a mock reading, so this is not for any specific person. Perhaps if you can connect to it on a personal level, then that's good. Or you could also try imagining a person that, or thinking of someone who you think this card maybe applies to, and then see if the other cards are aligning with that idea. But important to note that this is not, quote unquote, a real reading. But I hope that you're going to enjoy it nevertheless. Okay, so first, the open area with the Three of Wands. Then we have the hidden area, the Four of Pentacles. Then the blind spot. Interesting. The Seven of Cups. And the unknown. The realm of the subconscious. Judgment. Okay. So, what can we say about this person? And feel free to also theorize yourself if you are familiar with the tarot. I would love to hear your interpretations as well. So, what we're looking at here with the Three of Wands in the open area is a person who is who identifies as a very reliable and very kind of determined individual, someone who is in it for the long haul, someone who has good morals, and as I mentioned in the beginning, this is both in alignment with their own self-perception and the perception from the outside. So that's what other people can see as well. Three of Wands, in terms of personality, is someone who is not getting bogged down by the details, someone who has a generosity of spirit, someone who can kind of let things go, minor things, minor annoyances, things that will not really impact the big process that they are truly interested in. So, in a sense, the Three of Wands is kind of a visionary type person. They could also be a good leader, someone who is able to think with the complexity of the issues in mind, but having enough experience and determination to simplify it to an ample degree where problems become manageable. And so the Three of Wands is showing us that this is a mature person with a long-term vision. What is something that they are hiding, though? What is something that other people are not picking up on, and something that nevertheless they are aware of themselves? And this is where the Four of Pentacles seems to be indicating that even though on the more superficial level this person is dedicated to the cause, there could be some kind of affiliation with a big overarching goal or mission. You know, that's something that the Three of Wands is often resonating with. But then, with the Four of Pentacles, there's an aspect of their personality where they seem to be a little bit stubborn and overly focused on possessions. So the Four of Pentacles, in terms of personality, indicates a possessive, sometimes obsessive, somewhat disconnected person, someone who has a little bit of a scarcity mindset, someone who wants to be safe. It's better to be safe than sorry. And with the Four of Pentacles, this can sometimes go overboard. And we can tell that this is, all cards, each and every card is a complex spectrum of meanings. And the meanings range from positive sounding to more negative. And so because this is in the hidden position, we can assume that the fact that it needs to be hidden is indicating that this is something that the individual is not as proud of. It's not something that they want to communicate. This is something that they would rather keep to themselves. So there could be an element of greed or compulsions, especially compulsive thinking around money and finances and career and material stability. So these insecurities and these tendencies to want to stick to what works and sticking to kind of a conservative strategy, this is in contradiction with the Three of Wands. So we're seeing kind of a little bit of a disharmony here. Now, what is something that this person does not know about themselves, and it is at the same time quite clear to other people? The Seven of Cups. So this individual is very likely interpreting themselves as, on the one hand, a respectable, forward-thinking individual who tries to look at the global picture and not try to get bogged down by the details. But then again, they are also aware that they have a little bit of a problem getting caught up in the details, meaning when their security, their stability is threatened, especially when it's around finances or material things, they can become a little bit insecure. But all in all, I think this individual would characterize themselves as stable and committed, potentially committed to a cause. Now, the Seven of Cups is showing that the external perception that creates this blind spot, or that constitutes this blind spot that is not directly accessible to them, it reveals that there's less consistency and more of a fragmented behavior, especially on the emotional front. So while the individual experiences themselves as kind of a linear continuity of experiences, other people can see how many different altars can emerge within them. The Seven of Cups indicates a kind of lack of clear vision or lack of emotional stability and commitment to one specific thing. With the Seven of Cups, there's hesitation and there's indecision. So this is something that is not readily apparent to them, but other people pick up on it. It could be a sense of moodiness where the individual could wake up one day and completely contradict themselves depending on the kind of mood they are in. It could manifest itself as kind of a chronic inability to make decisions where they are emotionally involved. So they could at the same time be a good leader. So that's not necessarily an issue all the time, but every now and then this side of them emerges where there's a confusion about what direction they really want to go in. So the Seven of Cups is also the card of illusions and projections. So while internally it might seem to the individual as if they are justified in their anger, let's say, or their negative feelings towards another person, other people around them can see that that's kind of a self-justification, that it's some kind of a projection, that they are working with illusions to a certain extent, and they are not grounded in reality in their judgments. So these are definitely things that once they become more conscious, the individual can start working on. Now let's see what the subconscious layer holds. And here we have the most exciting card of this bunch, the Judgment card. Judgment is a major arcana card, and it's about confronting some deeply hidden, buried, forgotten, denied elements of consciousness that have been kind of exiled from the spectrum of conscious awareness, that have been suppressed. It's the recurrence, it's the reemergence of those things. So the subconscious layer here has a little bit of a surprise in store for this individual. It's not even necessarily a little thing, because this is the only major arcana card here in this reading, and thus it has immense power. So Judgment is indicating that life is preparing a challenge where this individual needs to own up to a mistake potentially that they made, or recognize and validate some potentially shameful or simply overwhelming truth about themselves. It's bubbling up to the surface. The power of judgment is really kind of intense, and it brings with it the chance for a new start. So all in all, it's a really good thing. But this is something that when the individual has some strong ego defenses in place, such as the Four of Pentacles or the Seven of Cups, where Four of Pentacles says, I need to hold on to things. I need to hold on to dear life. I am what matters. There's a little bit of selfishness with the Four of Pentacles. And the Seven of Cups says, well, truth is relative. I can say and think and feel what I want. and make it a reality. So those two kinds of forces, they could hinder the process of judgment to a degree, but they can never block it completely. So with judgment, there's some very important information coming through for this individual. And I would like to, even though this is just a mock reading, I would like to draw an additional card, because perhaps someone watching this could identify some patterns that apply to them or someone that they know. And I don't want to stop this reading without advice. So let's see what the cards reveal in terms of guidance for this individual. All right. Let's have a look. And we have the Devil. Okay. So that's another major arcana card. This individual should be very alert and cognizant of processes that create addictions, because they are vulnerable, especially during this time. If they used to have an addiction, there's a good chance for a relapse, so they need to be on guard and very careful with that. If they have an ongoing addiction, this could indicate the worsening of those patterns. And as I often say, addiction can be many things. It's not necessarily substances only that you can get addicted to. It could be behaviors, it could be activities that the individual feels imprisoned or enslaved by. So that's a key concept with the Devil, is that there's a lack of freedom that is generated by one's own actions. So it is free will generating a restriction of will, interestingly. So this could be a very important time of self-reflection, with some threat of addictive patterns becoming worse, that needs to be tended to, that needs to be acknowledged. But all in all, with Judgment placed in this very important position, you can almost tell that the consciousness is fighting for recognition, for freedom. The soul wants to break through these barriers of self-defense and wants to make itself known. So let me know, guys, what you think about this reading type, whether you think it's an interesting one. Obviously, the Johari window is something very different. So in terms of methodology, it's a very different thing than what we've just done here. But I used the concept to create this tarot reading because I thought it would be an interesting idea. So let me know what you guys think. Subscribe if you like my channel, and I would love to hear from you, and see you next time.